Number one talk station 99.3 Nigeria Info, Lagos, Nigeria. A very lovely morning to you. Thank you for joining us on the last 1 hour of the show. It's called The Morning Crossfire, and I am Sheriff Quadry. You can watch us live on Facebook and on YouTube this morning. Nigeria Info 99.3 is how you can be a part of the show today. That's Nigeria Info 99.3. You can watch us live on Facebook and YouTube on those two platforms. Right. Now, this morning we'll be looking at the elections, presidential elections 2023, and the coming election, the governorship elections this Saturday. I have joining me on the show this morning someone that you're familiar with pretty well. He's been on the show before. His name is Hamzat Lawal, the Chief Executive Officer of Connected Development Code. Hamzat is a political analyst, activist, also a founder of the Follow the Money. If you know that platform that really tracks what your money is being used for, an initiative of Code seeking to foster accountability in governance. He is the founder of that. Code, as an organization, empowers marginalized communities in Africa by providing them with access to information. And Code also worked concerning the regarding the just concluded presidential election, and that's why Hamza he's here on the show with us this morning. Hamza, a very lovely morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me, Sheriff. Good morning, Nigerians.
Good morning, and happy belated birthday to you, Hamza.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very old now. Thank you.
How does it feel, though, to be getting old? Say something now.
I am now slow and always tired.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, you're now fast turning into an elder statesman, Abi. More responsibilities.
You know.
Welcome and thank you for joining us. Let's start with
Thank
your
you.
assessment of the presidential election. What would be your assessment?
It fell short of the various expectations that was set, even by INEC herself. So Connected Development was an accredited observer of the elections. We deployed 20,000 observers in the 36 states and the FCT. And before the elections, Code, as a civil society organization, always attend the quarterly civil society roundtable with the INEC chairman. The INEC chairman had promised that they were going to deploy beavers, and the IREV would work in real time, where results would be uploaded and where citizens can see results from various polling units in real time. So a day before the elections, what I did was, because I also wanted to cast my ballot, I traveled to neighboring states in Abuja. So I went to Nasarawa, I went to Kaduna, I went to Plateau, and then I ended up in Kogi State. When I arrived Kogi State around 8 p.m. at night, I went to the local government, INEC local government office, where I found out that they were still sorting materials to be given to ad hoc staff to go to the rack center, both sensitive and non-sensitive. So I was there till about 10:30 p.m. Just observing, because as an observer, I have access to, witness what was going on. So, I just observed and I left to go rest. The next morning, all our observers were in their various polling units around 7:30. I got to mine around 8 a.m. And for us, we wanted to document opening up of polling units, which INEC said was going to happen by 8:30. From our assessment, over 60% of polling units did not get open by 8:30. Some got open by 12 noon, some even by 2 p.m., some by 4 p.m. Some never did even open until the next day, because the chairman had to now make a public announcement that, for polling unit that didn't open or that they came late, they would continue voting on a Sunday. And just to say that it's only 5% of those polling units that actually elections actually held. In some cases, particularly in Imo State, where some places they didn't hold elections, but results were announced in Imo State. So INEC fell short of the standard she set for herself, let alone best practices in terms of election itself. So Yes, it was marred by some pockets of insecurity, late arrival of materials and personnel, but it was a disaster logistic wise. The election was a disaster logistic wise, and of course the fact that the IRA platform did not work on election day to provide real time results, particularly for presidential elections. So, but when you look at the deployment of beavers, those are some positive events. The fact that it helped checkmate over voting, and I must give it to security agencies. The fact that they ensured that in some cases they were able to curtail violence, they deployed armed personnel to provide perimeter security, and in most polling units that we observed, there were armed people. There were there were security people on armed, at least two per polling unit.
Okay.
And that's what the law says. That's just an overall assessment or a brief assessment of what transpired 2 weeks ago.
Let's break it down even further now. Look, let's pick it up from the Beavers machine and the inability of the machine to upload results in at least copies of the results in real time. You heard the excuse that INEC gave. Do you think the excuse is tenable?
Well, I think for me, an investigation should have followed suit by now, where you would have members drawn from the Nigerian Bar Association, civil society, various security agency, even INEC herself, and even members of various leading political party. Because if you do this, one, it will douse tension and it will send a signal that you're actually ready to find what the root cause was and how to also avert it in the future. Because what happened is INEC lost public trust. Before the elections, INEC had never gotten that level of public trust, positive public perception and public support. But they lost everything. And you're in a society where there's trust deficit. On election day, they literally went from 100 to minus 1,000, So again, because they've lost public trust, nobody really even believe what INEC is saying. And what people want to see is, heads need to roll. The Nigerian people invested over 305 billion naira for these elections. 3.5 years ago, these dates were already set. So you can't say you never envisaged this was going to happen. So is it that you didn't have a mock, or you didn't even do various checks and balances and trials?
Right.
So what's important is to set up an investigative panel, independent. And I had thought that before now, maybe the DSS would have invited, the key people that were involved. So the vendor who even supplied this machine, the vendor who set up the IREP center platform, some key IT personnel in INEC, even the chairman, needs to be invited for questioning, because we must ensure that there are consequences for some of this failure. We can't have a country run without consequence. So, yeah, that's what I had expected would happen before now. Yes, INEC has said as we go into elections this weekend, they've already identified this gap and they have, worked to overcome these challenges and gap. But you've lost public trust and public confidence, and we've never seen the amount of turnout in any elections. And that's why I always question the data that put 26% turnout. No, that's not correct. Why do I say so, Sheriff? Because if you see videos and pictures of election day, you see millions of people came out. But in most cases, over 60%, there were no materials, there were no INEC ad hoc staff. So what we saw was older women, pregnant women, and older men who could not wait for hours, had to go back. And even when the materials came, they could not come back out again. So the reality is I think we even had up to 50% turnout. But because of INEC's, failure, we cannot really capture the actual amount of people that came out on election day.
And that leads us to my next set of questions, which is, of course, the voter turnout and the actual record of voters who cast their ballots on the day. I've heard so many people I've had so many angles to it. People called it voter apathy. Some people have said there was nothing like voter apathy. People actually came out. They wanted to vote. In some cases, they even stood against oppression and voter suppression. In some cases they were forced, not to vote and all of that. So we can't exactly say that it was low voter turnout, because people, this election more than ever before, people expressed their willingness to want to cast their ballot. But we're heading into the governorship election. What are the assurances that what happened 2 weeks ago won't repeat itself?
Oh, me, I can't give assurances, because I'm not the chairman of INEC. If I were, what happened last 2 weeks wouldn't have happened, and of course I would be able to give assurances. But what I can tell you is INEC had given us a commitment that they have already, closed those gaps, and what happened on Saturday would not, or 2 weeks ago, would not repeat itself on Saturday. Yes, there are voter suppression 2 weeks ago. There were manipulation. There were, pockets of intimidation and harassment by political thugs, where they saw, and also interference by polling agents of political party. So, but you see, this Saturday election, Sheriff, is even much more important than the presidential and national assembly elections, because this one is closer to home. And I believe that there will be millions of voter turnouts on Saturday, even much more than the presidential election, because I think people have now understood that, one, their votes count. Two, because of integration of technology, there's no overvoting and they can check overvoting. And three, the fact that the governors that would get elected on Saturday are the chief security officers, the chief financial officer of the state, and also the chief executor. The state assembly members are the representative of various constituencies. So that those are the people that will be making laws in the state. So those are closer to the grassroots. So, and I think Nigerians are now taking ownership of the process, even if they're aggrieved and, they're sad of, how INEC had managed this previous election. But I think most importantly, they now understand that they must take the destiny of this country and their destiny and the future of Nigeria into their hands, and they would come out even much more with their permanent voters card, coordinate themselves peacefully and cast their ballot. I am very confident this will happen on Saturday, because Nigerians now understand, they now understand, the consequence of not even engaging, let alone voting.
Let's talk about what you mentioned earlier, on the part of logistics failure in 2 weeks ago's presidential elections, and then another election is approaching. And Hamzat, you can bear me witness that in all of the elections that we've had, there's always been that problem of logistics. It's either this does not get to the polling unit, or it gets to the polling unit at night. There are some remote villages in some states that you have to travel by boat, and overnight, electoral officers are still on the boat trying to travel and make their way to their polling units. And even those that are in city centers, those that are even close to, INEC rack centers, incidentally and very weirdly, they don't even get to have their materials on time. I mean, they are just a stone throw away from the rack center, and you find that it's even taking like forever. And this one that happened last 2 weeks, people have said that it might have been delayed because of the cash crunch issue and all of that. Is there something we're not getting right in terms of logistics during elections? Do we have a model that works? Is it that we just need to tweak a little bit, or the entire model of logistics distribution during elections will continue to let us down if we stick to this model that we currently run?
The irony of this, Sheriff, is I think INEC needs to understand that they need a professional or an expert or people with skills to handle logistics. In 2015, elections were postponed due to logistical reasons. In 2019, election was also postponed because of logistics. 2023, due to logistics, the election was marred by a lot of irregularities. And even it was also postponed for the gubernatorial and state assembly elections. So we've had this series of postponement. So it's just as if it has now become a norm. But here in Nigeria, we have DHL, we have UPS. These are Korea Logistical Company. What I don't understand is why is INEC not signing MOU with them to train their staff and personnel or to even handle that aspect of the election management? You know, because the resources INEC have in terms of financial resources and commitment in terms of budgetary allocation, these institutions, they don't have it. Sharif, I told you I deployed 20,000 observers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the logistical nightmare?
Tell me.
To actually put 20,000 on the ground, procure T-shirts, distribute it to the 6 states, their tags, give them stipends, collect information and the reporting from them. But I didn't have any issues. Though, yeah, you can't compare to over 170,000 polling units across Nigeria. Right. But when you already know that this event is coming up, you have to plan. It's either you plan to fail or you fail to plan. It's as simple as that. So I think that INEC needs to understand that logistics is not, you don't put logistics in the hands of civil servant and say, oh, because you have money or because you already have an MOU with the National Union of Road Transport Workers, then everything will fall in place. Or because CBN is housing sensitive material, so it's just for you to go and collect it, sort it at the local government and, give these drivers and then they will get to the rack centers. I think we also need to acknowledge the fact that the cash crunch and the fuel scarcity also impacted INEC's logistics. And that's why the chairman actually came out and cried on top of his voice that, they need cash. And then the CBN governor committed that, they would get the required cash that was needed. But we didn't know if the CBN actually ensured that INEC got the cash that was needed. And I think this is where also responsive information sharing and timely information sharing would go a long way to curb negative perception or help fight misinformation, disinformation, and fake news around election management. So, but I think most importantly, INEC needs to understand and realize, because you see, you cannot wake someone who's pretending to sleep. INEC needs to understand that logistics is not a child's play, and they need to actually get the expertise or engage an expert to actually help them manage that aspect of it as we go into 2027 general elections.
Lagos, if you're just tuning in, you're welcome. It's the Crossfire here on Nigeria Info 99.3. Hamzat Lawal, the Executive Director of Connected Development, is on the show with me this morning. And we're talking about the presidential election and the governorship election this Saturday. We've spoken about the assessment of the presidential elections 2 weeks ago, and we're looking at the governorship elections this Saturday as well. We've talked about a lot of things about that as well. But let's open up, take one or two calls now, get your thoughts. And then when we return from the break, I will be speaking to Hamza on particularly on the expectations for the election Saturday. There are so many things, so many angles to elections on Saturday. The INEC is there. We can't exactly. I mean, INEC told us, confirmed, assured us that they were ready for the presidential elections, and here we are. And hopefully, whatever it is they're saying now, that they are now fully, ready. Hopefully, we can take that to the bank on Saturday. But let me hear your thoughts. One or two calls will do before we head out to our first break this hour. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Sharif.
Morning to you.
Lucky Lola from Magboro.
Welcome.
Yes, INEC chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu failed Nigeria, and he made Nigeria a laughing stock. And I believe his actions will forever be remembered. A day like this should be set aside, just like the Lekki massacre. The man fumbled. This is not what all Nigeria are expecting. Now, going to the next election, the governorship election, I'm just afraid because we don't have security. That is just my fear. Let's wait and see how everything pans out. Have a nice day.
You too, Lucky Lola. Have a good one. Let's take another call. Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Sherry.
Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. We can hear you. Please go on.
Yeah. So, my name is Don Duque from Savayava.
Welcome. Go on, please.
Thank you. I want to ask a question. why? How are we going to be sure that there will be security in the polling booth by the INEC? You understand? What is the plan about security? And also, the second question is, why is it that if somebody is attacked at the end of the day, they will only be talking about somebody that is attacked. They will not talk about no arrest have been made by any person that the people that attack people on the polling booth. Thank you.
Thank you to Don for calling. Appreciate it. And Hamza, you mentioned something about consequence as well earlier. I mean, when you have thugs disrupting elections, even when these thugs are caught, we barely hear any news of any successful prosecution of such. These to some people can actually dampen their morale to want to go out and cast their ballot.
Oh yes, definitely, and this is where law enforcement agency are coming to play. You can't hold INEC responsible for security during election. Even INEC herself needs security protection to move sensitive and non-sensitive material from various locations to the police units. I know that the IG of police, with the joint task force around election management, have made commitments that they will deploy more men for the gubernatorial and state assembly elections. Yes, some people were arrested during the last elections.
Hamza, please hold your thought. When we return, we'll talk more essentially on insecurity because the two calls we got this morning were about insecurity. Stay with us.
More talk, news, and sports after this.
Milk that is carefully formulated to retain its creaminess and great taste. So creamy, so good. Cowbell evaporated milk. So creamy, so good.
Cowbell, our milk. Thinking of relocating to Canada? We've got exciting news for you. Canada needs newcomers to address labor shortages and demographic changes that threatens the country's future. That is why Thou Immigration Consultant Services Limited, based in Halifax, Canada, is inviting you for information sessions on Saturday, March 25th, 2023. A regulated Canadian immigration consultant will be physically present to help you explore options available to immigrate to Canada. Morning session, 10 a.m. to 12 noon for those who want to study or work in Canada. Afternoon session, 1 to 3 p.m. for those who want to immigrate to Canada. Evening session, 4 to 6 p.m. This is for those who want to invest in Canada with pathways to Canadian citizenship. Venue, Lagos Oriental, Skyline Terrace Hall 2. They have also made provisions for virtual attendance of these events for those unable to attend in person. For further inquiries, please call 0703-138-7317. That is 0703-138-7317.
Oh no, my line has been barred.
Not to worry. Link your NIN and unbar your 9 mobile line with ease. Dial *996# and select option 2 or visit 9mobile.com.ng/NIN. You also get up to 20K for calls and up to 20 gig data when you link your line. If you are yet to enroll your NIN, please visit any 9 Mobile Experience Center now. Remember, dial *996#, select option 2 or visit 9mobile.com.ng/NIN now.
9 Mobile.
The only detergent that keeps me bright and fresh. I know they waste time to wash. I thought my clothes have the best, so why go less? You can't wash it out with a little Viva. Use Viva. Don't waste your time, don't waste your money. Use Viva. Viva, oh Viva. I love my Viva. Don't need no other. I love my Viva forever. Viva, oh Viva. I love my Viva. Don't need no other. I love my Viva forever. Viva, I love my Viva. Don't need no other. I love my Viva forever.
Viva Detergent, a quality cleaning powder from Aspira.
So, the first thing you do when you wake up is check out highlights. And then you remember, gotta take the kids to school. Almost dropped the ball there, baller. Can you meet your deadlines without ever missing the game? Now that's a true baller. You make it to date night on game night, but still catch the game, right? Come on, baller.
What a goal!
We bring you the best leagues on any screen, wherever you are, from only 3,200 naira per month. Live from Supersport on Showmax Pro. Sign up on showmax.com.
Samsung don't show again, oh! Now the newest star inside the Galaxy A series will bring give the Samsung Galaxy A14. This phone get beautiful designs for different color. It get knox protection and 50 megapixel rear camera. It gets smart 5,000 mega ampere battery where they fall hand. When you buy the A14 phone, you go collect travel adapter, Bluetooth speaker, and Bluetooth headset for free during the launch promotion from now till 9th of April. And with Samsung Flex Pay, you fit pay just 7,000 naira to get Samsung A14 phone and pay balance small for up to 3 to 12 months. Hurry now, we market city.
See, everybody with him own wahala. Every day comes with its own version of challenges, and you have to be ready to face them, because only then can you move on to the next. That's why I never miss my breakfast. Scratch that! My peak protein breakfast with the nutrients and energy I need to face each day, one challenge at a time.
Every day is a good day to power on with Peak Protein Breakfast. Have you had yours? Peak. Reach for your peak.
Babe, you've barely eaten anything. What's wrong?
I'm trying to be careful because I'm not sure of the facilities here.
Oh, I understand. But don't worry. Ernest is your guy.
Ernest? Who's Ernest?
Ernest Liver Salt is your ultimate run-to product that gives fast and effective relief from heartburn, constipation, and indigestion. It dissolves fast and works even faster. It comes in delicious orange, lemon, and plain flavors.
In that case, waiter!
Ernest Liver Salt, your surefire solution to stomach discomfort. Available in all pharmacies nationwide.
Blebe, how are you? I'm fine, Jerry. Did you check Igu's IG page this morning? No. What's happening there? Today's her birthday. We didn't get her anything. No. Oh, that's true. Pepe, don't worry. I have it sorted. Really? How? Well, fastestcakes.com will deliver a cake now. Yogos will not know we forgot. Done. They'll come sharp. Just like that?
With over 60,000 cakes delivered, fastestcakes.com is your sure plug for same-day cake deliveries.
Bleble, the cake is here. Yes, now. Let's go surprise Yinkles. Happy birthday, Yinkles.
Fastestcakes.com. Affordable cakes delivered very fast.
Our friend Oliver is what you call a man with a huge appetite. Gigantic, actually. And if there's one phrase we have come to know Oliver for, it is this.
More data, please.
No matter what we offer him.
More data, please.
So, guess what we did? We heard Glow created new data plans for people like Oliver, and we got him exactly that. And guess what Oliver said?
Excuse me, please, is this all for me? Only me?
Now, Oliver certainly has more than enough data. All thanks to the Glow Mega Data Plans.
With the longer validity you get on Glow Mega Data Plans, you can work from home with ease, run your business better, download non-stop, stream music and movies endlessly, learn online, and share data with anyone. No worries. Get 225 gigabytes at 30,000 naira for 30 days, 425 gigabytes at 50,000 naira for 90 days, and 1 terabyte at 100,000 naira for a year. Dial *777# now to start enjoying these mega plans.
Glow Unlimited.
Some are calling Group B the Group of Death as they beg to differ Tournament of Champions. Hamid Olarawaju is a past quarter-finalist and finalist and has only ever been beaten by champions. He wants revenge against Anvita Kaushik and Esther Bewaji, but first, he must make it out of this group. Redemption is also calling for Ramadan Oladipupo, the people's champion. Beaten in a controversial semi-final, he's here to prove that maybe he should have been in this group as an actual champion. But that title belongs to Ruth Okorocha. She beat the debater who beat Ramadan. Can she beat him too? Find out this March at the I Beg to Differ Tournament of Champions on 99.3 Nigeria Info and Wazobia Max TV.
We bring to you the newest star of the Galaxy A series, the Samsung Galaxy A14. This device has new beautiful designs in amazing colors. It's protected by Knox and has a 50-megapixel clear camera. It also has a smart 5,000 mAh battery. You get a travel adapter, Bluetooth speaker, or Bluetooth headset for free when you buy the A14 device during the launch promotion from now till 9th of April. And with Samsung Flex Pay, you can pay as low as 7,000 naira to own a Samsung A14 device and pay small over 3 to 12 months installments. Hurry now while stocks last.
Every day is a good day.
Cowbell evaporated milk is delicious milk that is carefully formulated to retain its creaminess and great taste. Cowbell evaporated milk. So creamy, so good.
Welcome back to your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info. This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
The nation's number one talk station, 99.3 Nigeria Info, Lagos. Good morning to you once again. Thank you for remaining with us. This morning we're talking about the elections this Saturday. I don't know. I have Hamzat Lawal, the Chief Executive Director of Connected Development of the show this morning. And we've talked about how excited Nigerians were, how involved Nigerians were in the presidential elections. Now, let's talk about the governorship elections, Hamzat. You mentioned earlier that you believe that people will still turn out to cast their ballot. If you look at how the presidential election turned out and the result that came through, a lot of people felt disappointed, especially those that the candidates lost the elections. And some of them were seen in videos cutting their shredding their PVCs and all of that, which could indicate their disappointment in the entire process and all of that because of the promises that that have been made to them by INEC and some other actors. Now, coming into this Saturday elections, would you say that if you look at the enthusiasm right now compared to that before the presidential elections, would you say they're at par? Would you say, because critically assessing this thing, it's still the same nationwide elections. All the states will still be involved. All the local government will still be involved. All the wards will still, it's still on the same scale, so to speak. Would you compare the enthusiasm now to what it was 2 weeks ago?
Oh, yes. If you look at the conversation, though I must also mention that it is really sad and unfortunate that the conversation now is being highly toxic with regional and tribal.
Well, we would come there. That one is part of what we're talking about. Very, very important that we come there.
Yes, so, but I think, yes, people would actually still come out in millions, even much more than Saturday. It's a shame that some people destroyed their permanent voters card. That's not a way to protest or air your grievance, because when you shut yourself out of engagement, what it means is you've relegated your responsibilities to others, and then you cannot complain when the results are different. There are channels of grievance that are peaceful, and that is recognized by the Constitution, and I'm glad that most political parties that are aggrieved have followed suit on those channels. But I think, Sheriff, a lot of people come out to cast their ballot because they now understand that, well, the more we engage, the more things get better in our country, and the more system and process are strengthened to deliver on, key issues that affect you and I, irrespective of where we are in any part of the country, because, even if you're in the north, south, east, or west, we're facing the same challenge of, insecurity. We're facing the same challenge of access to water, education, healthcare, jobs. So it's not as if any region is in isolation. Each and every one of us face the same issue. It's not as if when there was scarcity, there's some people who got, priority access to get fuel or get cash. No, everybody, everybody's literally feeling the pinch. So, yeah, I think millions of people will come up because now they understand that this is closer to home and they need to take charge of their life and the destiny of our country.
Let's talk about the brand of politics that we play now, the brand of politics that we have adopted, or should I say some of us have adopted, and that is the tribal politics. And the effect, the impact on the growth of our democracy. What will be your assessment on that?
See, if we continue like this, it will burn all of us. It doesn't care or matter, if you're someplace around the country. It would consume us, Sherry. See, we must take away sentiments, regional sentiment, ethnic sentiment, tribal sentiment, religious sentiment out of our politics. First, we must treat humans as humans, and we must dignify humans. Life is sacred. We must understand that we're a diverse country, and that in itself is unique, and that in itself puts us ahead of every other person. And we must draw strength from that. See, Sheriff, none of us choose to be Muslim or Christian, except we want to lie to ourselves. We were born, most of us are Muslim or Christian because we're born into a Muslim or Christian family. None of us choose to be born in a region or choose to be a tribe. God, in his wisdom, put us where we are, and we must recognize that and treat people like human beings. You see, if we continue this very dirty, very shameful, very senseless way of politicking, it will so consume us that our own case will be worse than that of Rwanda, where genocide happened. So we must be very careful. We must be very careful what we say and how we say what we say, and how we don't even have emotional intelligence, and what we talk and how we engage on social media and even mainstream media. Come on. A society that does not build trust and harmony would never progress. When we go to hospital, do we care if the doctor is a Muslim or Christian, or if the doctor is Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, Fulani, Ebira? No, you just want to get well, So we must see ourselves first as partners towards progress, and do away with this very shameful and dirty, senseless, sentimental politics. It's going to so consume us that the way we would regret it if we continue this way. So I hope that as we evolve in our politics, we do away with religion and sentiment. Or is there any queue for Muslim or Christian? Is there any queue for Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba when you go to the petrol station? Or is there a different price because you are of this tribe or ethnicity, you get preferential treatment? Come on, guys. Each and every one of us is facing the same issues of...
Yeah, that's network. It's come. I was hoping that it won't visit us. Well, the network is here. We're going to have Hamzat back any moment now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, yeah.
I'm here. Just net talking. It's going to burn us if we continue this way, and we must be very careful. We must be very, very careful. Each and every one of us have a role to play in nation building. Let's play our role, and let's make Nigeria great.
Indeed. We're going to take one or two calls now, then we'll come to insecurity, what the first and second callers spoke about. I mean, they want to go and cast their ballot on Saturday, but they are mainly concerned about the level of insecurity, stemming from what they experienced 2 weeks ago. But let's take one or two calls now before we get onto that conversation. Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
This is Joy calling.
Welcome, Joy. Talk to me.
I want to thank your guest. I'm so happy the way you speak. I don't even have any word to say, just to say thank you.
Thank you, Joy. Thank you, too, for calling. Nigeria Info, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. Yes, please, morning to you.
Yeah, hello, Hamzat.
Hi, good morning.
Happy belated birthday.
Oh, thank you. I am old now.
With the machinery with Yeager really put a whole lot into place to make this election credible. But with Professor Yakubu, it really messed up the whole process. And for the forthcoming election, I don't think it will be credible enough with what we have saw so far in the previous election in Nigeria. And I believe Hamzat and co should talk to Professor Yakub on majorly security. At my end there in Ojo, there are so much threats to voters. Some of the areas are in Okoko, some polling units where thugs snatched ballot paper in presence of security agencies, and nothing was done up to this moment. Nobody was held responsible for that, and I believe with the threat presently in Lagos State, the turnout for the forthcoming election might be low. So I just want the agencies to work on and put a security aspect to place. Moses from Ojo, thank you.
Welcome, Moses. Thank you for calling. Appreciate it. Let's take one more. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm Marinze calling from Sierra. Please, I think my take here is that since most of the people, everybody are saying that the INEC chairman did the bad job, why then should we go into another election with the same INEC chairman?
With him in
Can't
charge.
he be removed from that position so that we have a new person to conduct this one? Just like doing wrong thing and expecting a different result. That is my serious take, please, because many people came out to vote and they are very serious about it, but our votes not counting is a very, very serious offense to the people.
Yes,
Thank
it
you.
is. Thank you to you for calling. Appreciate it. Hamza, let's step up our conversation now. Let's talk about there's a sound filtering in, I think, from your end or so.
Have so many cows.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
How? And the most important thing of all, father.
Okay.
Your child.
It's better now, Paul?
Yes, it's better now. It's better now. Let's talk about the issue of insecurity. Majority of people are still scared. They're afraid. They want to go out the way they came out last 2 weeks. They want to come out, but they're scared. What can we do differently this time? And you said that your observers, noted security agencies, everywhere that you monitored. But then what went wrong in some places? Why did we have that much of violence and voter suppression?
I think that sadly, and this is the reality, Sheriff, you don't play politics with security. And that's why you're having growing insecurity across the country.
Hamza, we're still hearing that sound filtering in.
Okay, you don't play politics with security, because what our political leaders have done is they've played politics with security, and that's why we have growing insecurity across the country. And let's be fair to the security agencies. Our security forces have been rated one of the best around the world, but then we can't even tackle insecurity in our own backyard. Yes, you have two security personnel, either civil defense or police, or in some cases even custom or immigration in the police, but they're not armed. So what do you expect them to do when armed thugs come and disrupt the election? What exactly do you expect two security personnel to do that are unarmed? Because election-wise, you're not supposed to carry arms if you're securing the polling area. But that's why they also have perimeter security agencies who are armed, and mostly the military or the joint security forces, who are supposed to respond adequately and curb any intended violence or any violence that erupts. So I think largely is to ensure that we hold our political leaders accountable, to ensure they don't interfere in or they don't play politics with security. And the danger of that is what you and I are facing. But I think as we go into the elections, we need to ensure that we get stronger commitment from the Inspector General of Police, who co-chair the Joint Security Task Force around election management. And let all of us be vigilant, because security is everyone's business. And I think we need to also support the security agents in terms of intelligence gathering. I know that hotlines have been released by the police, and also the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to curb vote buying and vote selling and voter inducement around the election. So I think that it's our role and responsibility collectively. But most importantly, please let's not take laws into our hands. We must remain peaceful, and we must follow the rule of law as a country. Sheriff, if you pardon me, I have a live TV appearance.
Oh, yes. I have to let you go now. I know. I have to let you go now. Hamza, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you. Really appreciate your time.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sharif.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Yeah, Hamzat Lawal, the Executive Director of Connected Development, joining us on the show. this morning. He'll be on your TV anytime now too as well. I'm going to take a few calls before we go on the show this morning on your expectations for elections on Saturday. Of course, Nigeria Info's mandates 23 studios will reopen on Saturday as well for the coverage of that election. No doubt about it. No doubt about it at all. But in the meantime, let's get your thoughts concerning our conversation this morning. Good morning to you.
Hello.
Yes, morning to you.
Yeah. Good morning, sir.
Yes, please. Go on, sir.
Yeah, Onyemaduko, thank you once more. For me, in my own area, we organize our own security, whatever. Like the man said, INEC it has nothing to do about the security. But what I'm noticing is like the security agents, they are taking sides. How can almost 200 and something people arrested up till now? Nobody, like Uncle Jimmy said this morning. You didn't hear any prosecution. And it's like because certain party, which most of us know all this, if it's the other way around, you will hear so many arrests now, so many prosecutions. So I want to beg our people, defend your polling booths. We did that. No security agent in my own polling unit. Thank you, Chief Quadry.
Thank you, too. I don't think in the history of this country there's ever been any successful prosecution of political thugs, whether it's Party A or Party B or Party C in power. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's any party that you can call a saint in this regard. Good morning to you.
Hello, Sheriff.
Good morning. You're calling the female line, sir.
Good morning.
You're calling the female line.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay, but please do call the male line. Good morning to you.
Hello, Sheriff. Good morning.
Good
How
morning.
are you?
I'm doing okay.
Alex here. Welcome back.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah. You see, Hamzat is a really brilliant guy. I like to listen to him a lot. You know, he has a lot of insight and he has an honest way of assessing things. When he talked about the issue of religion and ethnicity and all of that, I think Nigerians should begin to ask themselves that when they put these things in front of them when making decisions, they also have to ask themselves that who gains from this decision I'm about to take when I'm being guided by religion or ethnicity. You have to ask yourself that who benefits from it. If you do that short assessment, you will find out that it's not really you.
So the thing, Alex, is these politicians have a way of making it look like it's to your own benefit.
No,
like you're being cheated.
Yes, that's why. Yeah, you see, part of our problem is the widespread illiteracy. We have to settle down and ask ourselves who really benefits from it. How does it benefit you? Really, it doesn't benefit you. It's the politicians who needs the numbers, okay? And they are the ones who benefit from this kind of thing. I don't know. Our people need to step up their. It's still the widespread illiteracy.
I get everything you were about to say.
It's frustrating, you see, but that's where we are now in our country.
Yeah,
No?
yeah. Sadly, thank you, Alex. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Lagos, we'll leave it here this morning, okay? We'll leave it here this morning. Thank you all for being a part of the Crossfire. Tomorrow on the show, we'll be looking at the assessment of the lifting of ban on the old Naira notes. Tomorrow, that's what we're doing all morning, just to get your thought on whether you've been able to access money, old or new. That's our conversation for tomorrow morning. Lagos, thank you for being a part of our show. You can watch this show again on Facebook and on YouTube. You can also check this show again out on your favorite podcast streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. This show is on those platforms as well. You can also listen to the show again on our website, nigeriainfo.fm. We have it for you there on demand. You can download and enjoy anytime, any day. You can follow us on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for snippets of the show you just listened to right now. I'm Sheriff Quadry. Sheriff Quadry on Twitter, Sheriff Quadry on Instagram, and Sheriff Quadry on Facebook. I'll see you tomorrow at 5. Daily Digest with Jimmy is next. Good morning to you.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
And I want to assume that you would run because I want to give the listeners context for the conversation.
In 2019, you were running late to Atiku Abubakar. What did you learn then that you will not repeat this time.
Yes, when is the president coming out to address us?
There's a few things. One, I have a burden and a passion for young people.
The fact that you have elected a man does not mean then you begin to order him around. The president will do whatever is good for the country at any given time.
Mr. Adeshino, isn't the president responsible to the people?
What should the next president do to root out stakeholders who are complicit?
You fire those. Those that need to be fired are fired. It's looking like a brand new Chelsea, attacking with so much fluidity. And what can you say about that, Martin? I know you follow Chelsea quite closely.
I live close to the Chelsea training ground. That's what you mean